Okay, let's just dive right in. And look, we are not talking about your typical self-help fluff today. No way. What we're going to do is break down a protocol for a one-day, like a fundamental reset of your life's entire operating system.
And let's just start right here, because if you're anything like me, this just hits home. I mean, we've all been there, right? You set this huge goal, you're all hyped up for maybe 2 weeks, and then, poof, it's gone. The whole idea behind this explainer is getting to the real reason why that always seems to happen.
So, why are they so stupid? Well, it's because most of us, we're playing the game of change completely backwards. Seriously, we're all focused on the symptoms, not the actual root cause of the problem.
Okay, now this is where things get really interesting. See, on one side, you have what most people do. They focus on their actions. They try to force themselves to go to the gym or to eat better. It's what's called a second-order change, and it feels like this constant uphill battle, because it is. But the right approach, the one that actually works, that's about changing your identity. This is a first-order change. The goal is to change who you are, so that all those behaviors you want just follow naturally. I mean, you don't have to grind to be yourself, right?
And this metaphor just nails it. Trying to change what you do without changing who you are, it's literally like trying to build this amazing, beautiful life on top of a rotting foundation. It's never going to hold up. It's destined to collapse.
So let's talk about that rotting foundation. Let's get into the real reason you feel so stuck. And here's a spoiler. It has nothing to do with being lazy or not having enough willpower. It's actually something much, much deeper.
Now, this is a huge, huge insight. It's this idea that your behavior is always goal-oriented. Every single thing you do. So even when you procrastinate, you are successfully achieving a goal. And what's that goal? Protecting yourself from judgment. Think about it. Procrastination isn't a failure to act. It's a successful strategy to avoid the possibility of failure or criticism. You're not failing at your task. You're succeeding at protecting your ego.
And this quote from Alfred Adler just hammers that point home. Trust only movement. Forget what you say you want. Your actions, your movement, that's what reveals your real unconscious goals. So if you say you want to be fit, but you keep ordering pizza, your movement shows that your true goal is comfort, not fitness. Your actions don't lie.
So how does this identity even get built in the first place? Well, it's basically a feedback loop. It starts with a goal. That goal then becomes a lens that shapes what you see, what you pay attention to, and what you learn. Then you act based on that, you get feedback, and you repeat. You just keep repeating that loop over and over until the behavior becomes automatic. It's just conditioning. And eventually, that behavior stops being something you do, and it becomes a part of who you are.
And this is why changing is so incredibly hard. Once your identity is formed, it will defend itself like crazy. It's like a psychological immune system. So when you try to do something that goes against it, like if you see yourself as a lazy person and you try to be super productive, your brain literally perceives that as a threat, and it triggers a real physical fight-or-flight stress response. You are biologically at war with yourself. No wonder it feels impossible.
Okay, so if our identity is this locked-in, self-defending fortress, how on earth do we ever change it? Well, the answer is in this really cool concept called cybernetics. It's all about learning how to steer your own ship.
But first, we have to completely redefine what intelligence even means. Forget IQ scores, forget trivia nights. According to someone like Naval Ravikant, real intelligence is way more practical. It's simply, do you get what you want out of life? It's not a number you're born with, it's a skill you can develop.
And that's where cybernetics comes in. The word itself comes from Greek, and it just means good at steering. So you can think of it as the instruction manual for that skill of intelligence. It's literally the art of getting what you want, of course correcting your way towards your destination.
So here's the core idea. It's all about this simple feedback loop. This is how any intelligence system works, from the thermostat in your house to a ship's autopilot to your own brain. You have a goal, you act, you sense where you are now, you compare that to your goal, and then you adjust your next action based on that feedback. That's it. Being stuck is just failing to run this loop. High intelligence is just running through this loop over and over and over again, relentlessly.
I love this metaphor. Think of your mind as the operating system for your reality. The problem is, most of us are running on old, outdated software, goals that were programmed into us by our parents, by our culture, by school. So to really change your life, you need to consciously uninstall that old programming and install a system update.
And that's exactly what this protocol we're talking about is designed to do. It's a one-day process, a guide to help you excavate your own psyche and install that brand new update.
The day is broken down into 3 really distinct parts. In the morning, you're going to do some psychological excavation. You're digging deep to create some real emotional leverage. Then, throughout the day, you'll use some simple prompts to interrupt your autopilot mode. And finally, in the evening, you synthesize all those insights into an actual, actionable plan.
Okay, so the morning kicks off with creating what's called an anti-vision. You do this by asking yourself some painfully specific questions, like this one. And I really want you to think about this for a second. If absolutely nothing changes for the next 5 years, describe an average Tuesday in brutal detail. The point here isn't to make you feel awful. It's to generate that raw emotional energy you need to actually fuel change. It's about making the cost of doing nothing feel real and visceral.
Then, during the day, you use these things called pattern interrupts. It's super simple. You just set an alarm on your phone with a pointed question. For example, set one for 3:15 p.m. that asks, "Am I moving toward the life I hate or the life I want?" These are designed to just snap you out of that zombie autopilot mode and force you to be conscious and aware, even for just a moment.
And then in the evening, you bring it all together. You synthesize. You take everything you've thought about during the day and you distill it into a super clear direction. And we're not talking about some vague wish. We're talking about one concrete, measurable thing that, if it were true in 1 year, you would know you've broken the old pattern.
All right, so you've done the deep work. You have your insights. Now what? How do you actually make it stick? Well, you turn your life into a game you actually get obsessed with playing.
And this is the framework. It's brilliant because it maps everything you just figured out onto the mechanics of a video game. So your anti-vision, that's the stakes. That's what happens if you lose. Your vision, that's how you win the game. Your 1-year goal, that's your main mission. The 1-month project, that's the current boss fight you're battling. And the daily levers, these are your daily quests. So let's say your mission is to launch a side business. A daily quest might just be spend 30 minutes on product research. It's a small action, something you can win every single day. And constraints, those are just the rules of your game, designed to help you win. A rule might be, no watching TV until my daily quest is done. See, it's not about restriction. It's about engineering the game so you can't help but succeed.
And the real power of this is that it just builds on itself. It creates momentum. All these pieces working together create this kind of mental force field. It gives you so much clarity and purpose that all those distractions and shiny objects, they just bounce right off you. You don't have to force yourself to focus anymore. It just becomes the natural state of playing the game that you designed for yourself.
So that's the whole protocol. It's a way to get out of that frustrating cycle of surface-level change, of just trying to force new actions, and instead get to a fundamental transformation of your identity. It's about designing a system, a game, where the life you want becomes your default path. And really, it all starts with designing that game, which leaves us with just one question. What game will you choose to play?